I definitely don't prefer the big gaps like Lou. It's hard, you know. I'm 41 now. We were talking on the way down here. I started the company in 2021. I've only had 5 fights, I think. I'd say, you know, time's running out, and I'm getting older, you know, and I'm starting to creak a lot and snap and break. So the more fights, the better, really, for me. Because there's a lot of people that want to fight, and I really want to get the fights in before I'm too old.
Lack of communication with the people in charge. I think it's, you message them. They don't. They take a while to get back. I know they're really busy and they know they've got lots of shows, but it's like one person tells you you're fighting on this date, and then you get told you're fighting on another date. The thing is, you can't plan a fight camp around them as well. That's another thing. It's like you don't know whether you're training for. I mean, when we were in Utah, you didn't know if you're training for altitude. You didn't know if it's hot. You don't know if it's a winter. Do you know what I mean? You've got to train different for different areas, and it's hard if you haven't got a location or a date. I mean, Mick was in one fight camp. Mick was in a fight camp for like a year and a half. So waiting for a fight, it was mental.
I think as well, obviously there was the suspensions. Obviously, I think the next opponent's Ben Rothwell. So there was a suspension there. We had to wait for that to run out. Perry ended up fighting Jake Paul. I mean, I think he made a few quid off that. So you got to wait for that fight to happen. Then Perry's got to recover from the fight. So I'm guessing on the Knuckle Manias there's going to be bigger names on the fight. So you've got to just wait for everyone to be ready to fight, you know. It's a funny one, you know, with the heavyweight. I remember when we fought in Utah, the weight got moved to 270.
270. It was 270.
270. And anyways, me and Arnold both weighed in 270. And then the commission found out. The commission went off it, didn't it? There was a kick-off about it. I remember Kev Smith had to try and calm the commission down because they're saying the weight was 265. I've got a funny feeling that obviously Ben was meant to be on the show. I think the weight got moved up for Ben. Obviously, he pulled out, he had COVID. So anyway, I fought Arnold, the weight was at 270. And then when I fought Lorenzo, the weight went back down to 265. So I had to be under 265. I mean, actually got myself in quite good shape, didn't I? So I was lower than that in anyways. And then now with Ben, there's talks of it being 275, 270 or just unlimited. So, I mean, I think it's the only weight division where the weight moves. You know, it's depending on the fight that you're fighting. I mean, if the weight's not too bad, I don't mind, you know, but...
Ben actually thought it was us, so Ben thought, like, people are whinging about fighting them, but there is weight categories for safety. It's not just for to accommodate one person, it's for safety. But Mick said he'll fight him at that weight. And he said, but you've got to think of the commissions. When we were away the last time, they blamed us, really. They were saying, no, it shouldn't be that weight. It wasn't us that upped the weight, you know what I mean? It was agreed that it could be that weight.
If I had to sign a contract at the beginning that says unlimited weight, I would have went fair enough. But when you sign a contract and it's like my contract was 265, it's been moved to 270, back down to 265, now to 275, it's like, what is the weight? You know what I mean? The thing is, it doesn't get classed as boxing, you know, because there's the dirty boxing element. You're allowed to grab the back of the head and, you know, punch up and clinch. So it gets classed as a martial art. And I think it's the same with the UFC. It's the 265 weight category. I mean, obviously, boxing, it's unlimited weight, you know, but when you sign something, you expected it to be followed through, you know. So I speak to Ben quite often, you know. I like Ben, he's a canny kid, and we griff each other online, but he's a fighter, you know. What I will say about Ben is Ben will fight anybody. I suppose when you're 300 pounds, you've got to, haven't you? You know what I mean? But, like, Ben will fight anyone. That's what I like about Ben. I've got a bit of respect for that, you know. He's not picking and choosing. He wants anyone.
He always does better against bigger opponents. So, like, I'm not worried about him. We're training exactly, looking at his last fights. We know what he does. Do you know what I mean? He might come out and do something different, but we're doing different things. I'm not really worried about it. Not worried at all.
He's not getting punched.
It's not me getting hit, It's not me getting hit. And I don't cry when I get stitched up because I actually don't get stitched up. But
it's a funny thing though, you know, because I see online, you know, people are going, Mick's gonna smash Ben all over, right? And although I do think I'm gonna win, this isn't an easy fight, you know. Ben is a big lad, he's got lots of experience, he can hold his own, he can take a shot, and he can definitely give a one. This isn't gonna be an easy fight. I do think I've found a little kink in his armour, and I think I'm gonna get it. But it's funny when people go, oh, Mick will just do this, that and the other. He's a big man, you know. It's going to be a hard fight. The one I'll win.
There's actually not an easy fight in the There's no easy fights. We found out a couple of weeks ago with like one of our lads, you know, there's no easy fights in bare knuckle. So, you know, so it takes one shot, but we know exactly what Ben does. We know how to beat someone that size. So we've been working towards that, and I mean, he'll put me right, you know what I mean? I'll say, yeah, we'll try this. No, because I'll get caught there. Or he'll say, I tell you what, we'll do this, and then I'll say something and say, right, we'll do that. But I think we've cracked it. Like,
you've got to look at the percentages, haven't you? Like I say, we were working on a move you said, and I saw a little flaw in it, and I thought, well, is it worth the risk? And then I had a suggestion. You saw a flaw in what I was thinking. So you go back to the drawing board and you find a formula that's going to work. And I think together we're both quite good at spotting faults, and we know what my faults are. But we're very good at spotting other people's faults as well. So you've got to try and defend my faults and work around other people's. I chinned him, didn't I, Lorenzo?
Yeah. No one's expecting that with it. As quick as it went, people thought he would win, but
I fucking had wanks quicker than that. You know?
has anyone heard from him yet?
He's done podcasts. No, I've seen him a lot. He's done podcasts. I hope he's done well. He's got an 18-month suspension, hasn't he? So, I mean, that'll be, 8 months coming up now. So he's got another year, I think, just under a year. But, I mean, he's a year older than me, Lorenzo. I think he's
old.
I mean, we're still much younger than you. You know what I mean? But a year and a half is a long time to be out in a bit of ring rust. I honestly think if Lorenzo goes back down to his natural weight, I think he'll clean up. You know, he's a specimen. Mind you, saying that when he's got the trend out of him and he's got all the test out of him, who knows? He might just deflate. He might be a welterweight or something after that.
That's the thing. I smear him like you, Lou. That's the thing now. Do you know what you're going to see? Do you know the more they're testing in America, the more you're going to see? Like, you're going to see heavyweights going down.
You're
all going to going down. You're going to see the cruiserweight division packed because they're not on the gear.
It was all like that,
it's going to be two heavyweights.
Honestly, when this is right, you're doing a piss test. The amount of heart attacks that happened in that room was quite funny. But, oh no, you know, the life just drained out of them. I mean, they were giving them big fines. I honestly think the opponent should get some of that fine though. I mean, I was the one getting punched in the head. I think Lorenzo failed 3 tests, didn't he, before the actual fight? So I knew there was something up. When you go along, I see Lorenzo, he's got to do another test. And I was thinking, I asked, I says, how many's he had? Oh, this will be his 3rd one. So I think when you've had 3, you know something's went wrong. I only had to do 1.
Didn't help himself by going changing his tracksuit bottoms to baggy tracksuit bottoms. With a lump in the front. With a lump in the front.
Pomo's a very good fighter. He's got great movement. He reminds us a lot of Mike Tyson. His angles are very good. He's very aggressive. Can he sustain it for 5 rounds? I don't know. He's fighting people who are subpar, I would say. And like, I know Arnold Adams offered him a fight and he's meant to have knocked it back. I mean, that's come from Arnold. Can you blame him? Arnold's good. He's the best I've fought. But I think if you think you're going to shout for titles, you've got to fight anybody. If you think you're going to be the next champ, nobody's a danger to you. But what I will say is when you look at your records, if you knock Arnold Adams back and then you're fighting someone that's 1-1, and then like people are looking through his record and they're going, oh, he's fought this kid, he's 5-3. But if you look at the kid who's 5-3, if you look at his wins, he's only beat people who are 1-0, and then he's getting beat off people who are like average at best. So his record's not great, you know, it's very padded. And I just think, don't pad your record. Have the proper fights, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I'm not saying all my opponents have been great, but like I've never asked for an opponent. If someone's asked us for a fight, I've never knocked it back. It's just basically, I'll get a phone call off BKFC, you're fighting him, and it's then I'll say, no problem, I'll see you there.
Right, I think he's good. I think he's really good. I think he's explosive. But I think he's a little bit like Lorenzo. People are looking at him going, wow, look at him, he's a beast, he's not going to be beat. But he is, like Mick says, if you look at the record of his opponents, I mean, I can't blame him. I can't blame him for not wanting to fight Arnold Adams. If he fought Mick, fair enough, he got beat off Mick, he's been beat off a world champion. He'd be thinking, oh, if I get beat off Arnold Adams, I'm beat off a kid that's got losses there. But Mick's been beat off Arnold. I think Arnold smashes him, to be fair. But you've got to work your way up, you know what I mean? You can't just jump and say, right, I want that shot. There's other people more deserving than him. So I know he's like the next big thing, but he's young. He's got plenty of time to like get into it. You know what I mean? And get them shots, build himself up, work his way up, and fight decent opponents. You can't just say, right, I'm not fighting him. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not fighting him.
To be fair, you know, there's only two people asking us for a title shot at the minute. One's Ben Rothwell and one's Pomo. Nobody else has asked us. I mean, I must get 2 or 3 messages every day of just people saying they want to chin us. You know what I mean? I don't know what I've done to people, like, but every day is... I get a couple off him as well. But every day somebody says, I think I could beat you. But they never challenge you for a BKFC fight. They just want to, I'll come to me gym, I'll have a fight with you, I think I can beat you. But I get that every day now. But legitimate people in the BKFC, I've been approached off Pomo and Ben Rothwell, and that's it. Well,
Answer your phone. Answer your messages.
I answer your messages. I mean, I know there's a big show on in Philadelphia shortly. Hoping I'm going to get the phone call for that one, you know, because I last fought in April and I've been fit and I really the full, because you're expecting it to go again. I was hoping for October, November, December. No, it's going to be January, you know. And, you know, like at 41, it's hard to keep the training going all the time. So, like, what we decided was the other month, we'll cut it down to 3 times a week. So I've just been training 3 times a week, taking over. And then when the fight comes back, we'll go back to like 5-6 hours a day. It's because it's not enjoyable training. I hate training, but
you've got to think of this. You've got to think of this one. This one's January. Mick's going to be training over Christmas. We got told a date in February. Well, it was February. Might be to have a couple of days off over Christmas. It's January 1. We're going to train over Christmas. If the fight's there, we'll train over Christmas and enjoy it afterwards. But
and I like
a date.
I mean, Christmas is for eating. I'm going to have shit Christmas dinner now.
I might do me a favour. Keep him off the sweets, mightn't it? Keep him out the selection boxes. But no, you need a date, really. We need the date to work towards, and we need to know. If it's Philadelphia, we know what it's like out there. We know it's not altitude. We know it's not.
Philadelphia's like home, and
it's just like home, So
the difference is it's 5 hours behind, and you've got to stay awake later. I don't think you can knock Ben out with a single shot. I think it's got to be lots of shots. I think you've got to work rate him. Ben's a big lad, you know. He's got a big fat neck, big huge head, so it's hard to knock it out. But I think if you accumulate lots of shots on him, you can make him turn his back. And I think if he turns his back, he'll start getting counts. And there's only so many times you can do that.
I think he'll give up. I think he'll give up. He hasn't been put under that kind of pressure really in the bare knuckle yet. But
Josh Copeland gave him a hard fight, didn't he?
Yeah, give him a hard fight. But
it was at altitude though. I'll give him that because I fought at altitude, and it's a real thing that it was a nice fight at altitude. I mean, you look through the comments on YouTube, and everyone's saying that they're unfit and they're lazy. But at altitude, it does change how you fight. But I think with Ben, it's going to be work rate, just lots and lots of work rate. I've got some good sponsors. I've got a computer clinic. We buy cars for more. Owen, I don't know what Owen's brand is, but Owen's helped us a lot. I've asked Owen for a brand. He's given us Paul Venice's head. You know what I mean? I cannot put something that ugly on my shorts. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be fair in the world. You know, people have been sick everywhere.
Wouldn't figure out to wear tracks with bottoms.
I know.
Fit on the shorts.
Just as well, I've got a big todger because it'll fill that chin. You know, if he's on the front of me shorts. But apart from that, that's about it at the minute.
Just lads that help out. Mark Bailey, computer clinic. Marvin.
Hi, Marv.
Team Valley MOT. He does everything for her.
Swear to God, you know.
Does a lot of work in the background. So
I've got to mention Marv, you know, because Marv's going to take over as my manager at the minute, and I swear to God, he's just hell bent on sorting everything out for us, you know. Ben, you better sort yourself out, lose some weight, because I'm going to come flying at you like a steam train, and I'll put that many combinations on you, you're going to think you're a safe door, and I'm going to crack you wide open.